Hello, everyone. How's it going? Welcome to the Weekly Sip. Sorry I'm a bit late and I was doing dishes. Mmm. Coffee. Coffee's good. Yes, the stream is today. The main reason the stream is today is because I will be on Metal Stream tomorrow at around 11 a.m. my time. So, oof. Let me just adjust my legs. Okay. Yeah. Oh. Doing dishes is code for getting pegged. Naomi's not even home. Naomi's at work. Naomi's at work, dude. The bot automatically pings the Discord. Israel video still in the future, thanks to the 10 shekels. Oh man, maybe, but probably not till after the election. I've got a ton of election-related projects that I want to do. There's a bunch of Trump topics, there's a bunch of Biden topics, a bunch of Kamala topics. They're only going to be relevant for the next month, and I want to do them. So I'm going to be working on those for basically the next month or so. Let's see, dev streams. Oh, the bot didn't ping. What's going on, bot? Here, I'll add everyone in there. Here, just wait a second. Just wait a second, dude. Sip time. Done. Okay. Dev, when will you pledge allegiance to the one true president, Trump? Never, for like 18 different reasons. Mmm. Oh, man. Coffee is good. So, let me tell you about what I've been doing today. Guess what I played today, guys? I played motherfucking Dustborn. Hold on. Is the Botrix chat even working? It is. It's just that no one's in Twitch right now. And Botrix hasn't kicked in for YouTube yet. God damn it, Botrix, figure it out. He'll kick in a minute or two. That's usually how it is. Why is it called Spirit Halloween and not Bloodbath and Beyond? It's actually pretty good. Okay. It's just oops. Okay. Let me just close all this up. So yeah, basically, did I poop my pants? Please help. Thanks the $2, dude. Okay, listen, fellas. I've been playing Bloodborne, and the reason I've been playing Bloodborne is that I need a bit more footage for my video. And I've described to you guys my writing process before. Not Bloodborne. Oh my god, Dustborn. Fucking Dustborn. What a terrible fucking game. Okay. Not Bloodborne, Dustborn. Okay, so listen, guys. I've mentioned to you guys my writing process before. Like, if I'm not feeling it, deep in my gut, I can't really write a script. I've tried to force myself to write scripts before when I don't care about the topic, and it comes out trash. And I generally don't upload or record those videos because they're just fucking garbage. But right now, I'm feeling the Dustborn video. So I'm like, okay, what do I need for the Dustborn video? And I start going over all the footage that I collected from our streams of it, and I realized that, oh, I actually need more footage from the first half of the game. So I need to replay parts of the first half of the game from the beginning up until the underground school section. And that's like 3 or 4 chapters in. So I have to do like the intro in Pacifica, then the road trip to the anarcho primitivist camp, that entire section, and then the road trip to the abandoned diner. And then from there you go to like the trailer park, and at the trailer park is the underground school. So I got to go through like 4 fucking chapters. I gotta go through 4 fucking chapters to get the footage that I need for the Dustborn video, and I'm just like, oh no. So I'm playing it. I played some of it last night. I played some of it before the weekly sip today. I'm gonna go play some more of it. Fucking hell. Dave's not here right now. Libertarian script was a big L. Yeah, only if you're an idiot, though. I don't want to take existing. The existing footage didn't cover certain things that I need, like certain choices that I got to put in the video. And also, I don't want to be Anita and steal huge swaths of the recorded footage. Like, I've taken footage from games before where I just need like a 10-second clip. So, for example, in the transcore conservative core video, I took footage from somebody else's Doom playthrough because I talked about Doom for like 15 seconds, and I just took like a random snippet. But like the main topic, I'm gonna get that. That's gonna be my own footage. Living in Dev's walls, $2. I don't even get paid for taking collateral damage. You gotta listen to it booming into the walls, eh? So yeah, I'll be playing that a bit more. I'll be playing that for. I probably got another couple hours. I probably got another couple hours to go at least of Dustborn footage that I need for this video. Stealing's a moral good. Fuck. Anyway, yeah, I expected to lose some subs over the I'm not a libertarian video, and I did lose some subs, and that's okay. We are cutting the wheat from the chaff, it seems. Didn't Arch play through Dustborn? I'm pretty sure Arch played through that game, didn't he? I know Lumi did. How many did I lose? Oh, since the Libertarian video. I mean, since all the dramas began a few months ago, I've lost about 5,000. And since the Libertarian video, I might have lost like 100, maybe 200. Yeah, that's just how it is. Some people cannot accept that you don't believe what they believe. Oh well, though. Oh, the Eastman video will probably come out in this month. Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for sure. $5 from Argyle. Haunting in Dev's walls. Spookily, how ugly is nude Dev? Gotta know. I want to marry. Jesus Christ, dude. Festiva, $2. Words are violence. Become disinformation, Dev. The only question that actually matters to the libertarian thing is whether you want to increase, decrease, or keep the same for tax rates. I don't care too much, to be honest. Like, there's obviously a level of taxation that is too low, where your government can't function. There's obviously a level of taxation that is too high, where your society can't function, and there's going to be some medium spot in between. And beyond that, I don't really care too much. I don't have like some ideological devotion to the idea of less or more taxes. It's okay, Dev. You're allowed to be wrong. Yeah, but I'm not, though. That's the kind of the point. I'm playing Shapes 2. Shapes don't have genders, sexual preferences. They don't have motivations or backstories. There's no narrative stakes or message. Just pure factory building. It's great. That sounds awesome, Tidge. Yeah. Yeah. The Leffler curve. I know what you're talking about. That's like the curve of how when there's too much taxation, then products become too expensive, and then it turns out that people buy less of them, so you actually get less revenue. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah. There's no perfect tax. Yeah, of course. You can literally replace taxes with tariffs. No, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. No, I don't agree with it, that you can replace taxes with tariffs. I know Arch is like big on the tariffs thing, but honestly, I think tariffs are going to be more bad than good. fuck. Man. Coffee is so good in the morning. Yeah, exactly. It's attacked. I was more or less getting there. I'm not ideologically committed to whether I have more or less money in my pocket. Yeah, that's dumb though. That's a dumb way to look at it. That's a dumb way to look at it. Oh fuck, hold on. Come on. Because if you have more money in your pocket, all other things being the same, then you end up driving inflation. Because inflation is simply a product of increased demand and supply staying the same. So any way that you increase demand, you end up creating inflation, whether that's through money printing or more benefits, or even through less taxes. Inflation is the product of increased money supply. That's one of the products, but not all. Yeah, production is the good thing, not cash in your pocket. Exactly. Ugh. Now, here's the thing. That video was not a very poor representation of libertarianism. People are just mad that they're wrong. That's what's actually happening. Here, maybe I can show you. Hold on. Okay? Here. Give me a moment, okay? Wait, you're listening in the shower, Schnitzel? You have like a speaker? Here, give me a second here. Let me show you if you got. Let me see if I can fucking figure this out. It's time for us to be MS Paint warriors, okay? Here. Here's a circle. Okay, I think we're good. Let's see if I can bring this in. Oh, $1 from Starcade. Libertarians use the NAP because they're too bitch-made to fight back. Thanks, man. Hey, Leafy, what's up? Okay. You know, I don't think inflation or taxes are a necessity. I think they're the best way to do things, though. And even then, only a little bit of inflation. Okay, here. Let me see if I can show you. Okay, so here's our MS Paint. Let's say that this circle here, here's a circle. This circle represents the set of all things that I can do. Okay? This circle represents the set of all things that I can do. So let's say that, like, right here in this section of the circle, these are like all the video games that I could play over in my gaming room, right? And then, like, this circle represents all the food that I could eat based on what's currently in my kitchen, what I have the money to go out and buy, etc., right? And then, like, you know, all the jobs that I could work, right? So here we go. We have basically this circle is the set of all things that I could do without anyone else's involvement, just based on my own labor and my own ability. Okay. And so this circle, we're going to call it, these are what we call like negative freedoms. Because that is what negative freedoms are in a practical sense. They are simply the set of things you can do without anyone else's involvement, right? Is Dev dying a pizza for his second lunch? Nice. Nice. All right, so these are negative freedoms, because negative freedoms, the whole idea of like the negative freedoms versus positive freedoms things is that positive freedoms compel somebody else's labor. Negative freedoms are things that you can do in a vacuum. This is you on the Robinson Crusoe island economy, man in a state of nature, you know, all the early liberal theory, right? So this is negative freedoms. This is the set of all things that I could possibly do, okay? And this is for me. So these would be like Dev's negative freedoms. Okay? And so let's just draw another circle over here. Actually, we'll just copy this circle. So you know, I want to make them the same, so we'll just copy this circle, okay? So there we go. We'll put this, here's a second circle, okay? And this circle here will be, let's say it's Tidge's negative, okay? So here's Tidge's negative freedoms. And this is going to contain the set of all things that Tidge can do in a vacuum. Okay. Now let's say that I want to say something. I want to speak, because I have the right to free speech, and so speech is a freedom that I have. So let's say that like this wedge of the pizza represents the set of all things that I could possibly say. Okay? All things that I could possibly say. So this will be speech. Speech. Can I make it? Okay. Speech. All right. This is the set of all things that I could possibly say. Now let's say that Tidge is evil, and Tidge wants to censor me. Okay, so this wedge here. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll remove speech. Okay, but this is all things. The set of all things I could say. Tidge is evil and wants to censor me. So this wedge here will represent all the ways and methods that Tidge could censor me using Tidge's own power. Right? Okay. So these are both negative freedoms. My right to speak, Tidge's right to censor me from speaking. Because these are things that we can do in a vacuum. Right? So if I'm going to have a true free speech right, that means that Tidge's right to speak, right to censor me, must be suppressed. So this section of the set of things that Tidge can do must be Tidge must be prevented from doing them. Okay? And alternatively, for Tidge to truly have a right to censor me, my speech has to be suppressed. So this part of the set of things that I could do in a vacuum must also be suppressed. Okay? Right? So basically, if we're looking at just the set of things that we could each do, one of us must have our set truncated in favor of the other person's set. All right? Now, someone, Jasso Havens in the chat says, there is no right to censor anyone. Yeah, Magnus says Tidge cannot censor you in a vacuum. But here's the thing. Yeah, so one of those two isn't a right. But yeah, Tidge doesn't have a right to censor you. Here's the thing, all right? Okay, so you're all wrong. Okay? I understand what you're saying, but you're all wrong. What you're doing is you're picking out a subsection of the set of all things that you can do and saying, hold on, that's not a real right. That's what you're saying. And the reason that you're saying that is for this libertarian NAP thing. Like you don't have the right to be aggressive, is what you're basically saying. And censoring someone else is an aggressive action. So it doesn't actually count as a right. And I understand that argument. And by the way, I generally agree with that argument. Okay? What I'm saying is that, no, you have the right to be aggressive. But it's a good thing that we stop people from not enforcing, what's the word? From exercising that right. All right? That's what's going on here, right? Is that you do actually have the right to be aggressive. And this is where the libertarians are wrong. The libertarians like carve out an exception based on a moral principle, the NAP, saying, oh, this part of negative freedom isn't a true freedom. That doesn't count. But it actually does count. I'm willing to bite the bullet and say, yeah, that counts, and I'm actually willing to suppress it. I'm willing to say that you have a section of freedoms, a section of negative freedoms that I think the state should come in and suppress and say, no. Even though you could do that, we're going to stop you from doing it. And that's a good thing. All right? They're saying that censoring you isn't a right because in a vacuum without other people, there is no one to censor. Yeah, but we don't live in a vacuum. And that's the point. We do not live in a vacuum. And so the whole man in a state of nature, Robinson Crusoe Island economy doesn't apply. Like I don't care about the theoretical state of you living off in the bush by yourself. We don't live that way. We live with other people. And so for your negative rights to be secure, other people's negative rights have to be truncated. And then your rights have to be secured by positive rights. So, for example, the libertarian will say, hey, listen, this section of the set of all things that Tidge can possibly do, for moral reasons, we're going to truncate that. Okay, fair enough. However, the socialist will come in and say, actually, we don't care about aggression. We care about oppression. And here is the set of all things that Tidge could do to be oppressive instead. And socialists will say, you know what? We're going to truncate that instead of aggression because our moral system cares about this. Libertarian moral system cares about this. And you're going to get like some religious person who's going to say, actually, we don't care about aggression or oppression. We care about sin. So here's the set of all possible sins, and we're going to truncate that and say, well, even though these are your natural rights, we're gonna restrict those anyway, right? So every philosophy looks at the set of all things you can do, and then say, you know what? For moral reasons, we're taking this part away, or we're taking this part away, or we're taking this part away. Okay? And fair enough. Like, I completely agree with doing that because I have my own moral principles, and I do think that some of these things should be suppressed. So fair enough. However, if we're simply talking about the practical reality of the set of all things you can possibly do, hold on. These two sets are mutually incompatible. All right? And so some authority must step in and choose which one of these, generally on moral principles, to suppress. And that suppression is where we get positive rights. It's as simple as that. So, for example, if I want to speak, and I'm like, standing at a speaker's corner and I'm like reading off a speech, and Tidge comes up and is like, you know what? I want to censor him. And I'm going to go up there and I'm going to like put my hand over his mouth and rip up his speech. The police will come in and arrest Tidge. And that's a good thing. And I have that right. I have that positive right because positive rights are what secure negative rights when you have to live with other people. It's as simple as that. So you don't get to choose to live in a society that have no positive freedoms. In fact, positive freedoms are necessary to secure your negative freedoms. There is no non-positive freedom option. So at this point, the conversation becomes a social negotiation of, well, based on our society's morals and values, what we intuitively feel is right, what parts of people's negative freedoms should be truncated and then protected, and then other parts of those negative freedoms protected by positive freedoms. You got it? No. See, here's the thing. Agarizer says initiation of force is the key, Dev. No, it's not. It actually isn't. Because like I said earlier, this is the part that all libertarians are missing. And you need to open your ears and listen right now because you're consistently missing this, okay? The judgment where you say, you know what? Initiation of force is the key. Being aggressive is the key. The NAP is the key. No. That already implies that you've bought in to this libertarian morality. All right? Like I said, there are here. I'll do it in green. Okay. There are socialists who say I don't care about aggression. I care about oppression. So actually, I want to truncate these parts of rights based on my moral principle. And there's going to be Christians, and then Christians will say, well, actually, I don't care about aggression or oppression. I care about sin. So I'm going to truncate these parts based on the Christian concept of sin. And there's going to be Islamists who are going to say, like, oh, I don't care about that at all. I don't care about that at all. I care about Islam's concept of sin. So we're going to truncate based on Islam's concept of sin, right? So the point is, no. Libertarianism is wrong because socialists don't care about the NAP. That's not what I'm saying. No, you still misunderstand. Please, God, are all libertarians like 90 IQ fucking retards? Listen, okay? No. What I'm saying is that libertarianism is no different in that it makes it carves out moral exceptions, and this is a this is a necessary process, by the way. It carves out moral exceptions to truncate people's negative freedoms. But then libertarians turn around and say, well, actually, positive freedoms don't really exist, and actually, the state is bad. It's like, well, no. You can't have one without the other. You cannot have one without the other. That's the point. And then, in a practical sense, because we don't live in an isolated state of nature, your negative freedoms are secured by truncating somebody else's negative freedoms by then saying, well, here's positive freedoms that secure negative freedoms, right? You have a right to free speech, not simply because it is a part of your negative freedoms, but because you live in a society that respects that right to free speech. And so other people have a responsibility not to censor you. And the government has a responsibility to step in and protect your right to free speech when it's under threat. All right? So you don't have negative freedoms without corresponding positive freedoms as long as you live with other human beings. You are wrong, Dev. That's not an argument. No. See, you still don't get it. You still don't fucking get it. This Iman guy, and some people think that murder is cool and base, and how can you say not doing so is right? Checkmate, atheist. I didn't say that. Like you're not understanding. You're not understanding, and you're not listening. All right. I don't know if you're incapable or if you're bad faith or what, but you're not fucking getting it. All right. What I'm saying is, if there is a murderer who has come to kill you, and he has his weapons out, and you're on the floor, and you're lying there and you're about to die, you claiming, hey, guess what, dude? I got a negative freedom to be left alone. That's not going to stop him. All right? That will not stop him. And all of libertarian crowing about rights and freedoms and the NAP means nothing in the face of actual real violence. Okay? And what protects you from that actual real violence is positive freedoms. Might makes right? No. Might doesn't make right. But you cannot be right without also having might. It's as simple as that. Because if you're morally correct but weak, then you just lose. Violating the NAP triggers the positive rights. Well, I mean, yes, but that's the thing though, is that libertarians tend to say that positive rights don't exist. It's like, no. Positive rights are required. They are a necessary part of your negative rights. Yeah, the sovereign citizens. Oh, it's so fucking stupid, dude. A config file without standard config language. Anyway, yes. Well, listen. Okay, I do not misinterpret what the NAP is for. I literally just said what you said. What you're not understanding is the NAP is not special compared to other moral philosophies that have a different set of lines in the sand that you cross, and then the state can infringe on you, or the community can infringe on you. And but what makes libertarianism different and more stupid, all right, is that libertarians also say positive rights aren't real. Positive rights don't exist. Positive rights are just state infringement. And it's just like, listen, guys, you know what? When I get robbed and the cops show up and then investigate the crime scene and then go out and then find the robber, I'm like, you know what? That's good. If you want to call me a statist or an authoritarian for wanting the police to be on my side when I'm a victim, go ahead. Okay. I'll bite that bullet. Yes, you need negative freedoms to create positive freedoms. Yes, you do. But also, negative freedoms are secured by positive freedoms. If you live in a world with no positive freedoms, then you have no negative freedoms. They will simply be infringed and you will be marched over. Yeah, see, look. As soon as I actually lay all this out, this guy merely pretending in the chat immediately changes track. On this episode, Europhile thinks rights come from the government. See, like you're not actually listening. You're just like reacting in chat, and I'm kind of tired of it. So anyway, yeah, the point is that all negative freedoms exist because as long as you live in a society, there are corresponding positive freedoms that secure those negative freedoms. So, you have the right to your own property, not simply because you are a homesteader with a gun and you protect it, but because the state recognizes your right to the property, and if your property rights are infringed, the state will come and assist you in sorting it out. And that's why you have your property. And you might not like it, but it's true. That is the practical reality of power and of violence and of living with other human beings. It's simple as that. Yeah, your argument of what a positive and negative right is hinges on authority, Dev. You literally said that negative rights can only exist if an authority can enforce them via positive rights. I mean, in a practical sense, yes. Philosophically, no. No. Philosophically, no. I mean, philosophically, negative rights exist everywhere. They just are, right? But in any practical sense, yes. Like, listen. This is Heinlein's criticism of liberal and libertarian concept of rights. Like Heinlein said, listen, yeah, okay, you might say you have the right to freedom. You can crow that as much as you want, locked away in a dungeon. Be like, I have the right to be free. Yeah, well, guess what? You're in a dungeon. You're not getting out. So like, it doesn't matter what rights you have. What matters is what power says you have. Frankly, in the end. And so, this is why, by the way, you need to engage with your government and your society and your community in a responsible and adult manner, so that you can prevent it from turning too much towards tyranny. Kevin PH, $5. What do you think of cyclical theory and political systems? Some believe that we're in a conservative political system and cycle. I understand cyclical thinking, and there's something to it for sure, but I think like just so theories like that tend to be bunk. Antelope, $2. Are you saying Hegel wasn't all bad? Yeah, of course. No one's all bad. Your rights cease to exist and we recognize them. That's an appeal to authority and it's materialist. You don't know what a right is. Yeah, guess what? But that's exactly how it is. That's exactly how it is. All right. It is an appeal to authority, and it necessarily has to be an appeal to authority. It cannot be otherwise. Like I said, you can claim I have the right to whatever it is, as an army of 10,000 marches over your corpse. Claim it all you want. Your rights mean nothing without power to back it up. See, again, some person says Dev might makes right. No. Again, you don't get it. I can't fucking believe I have to do like the Twitter clapping thing, but it's so stupid. I just said 5 minutes ago that it's not might makes right. It's that right cannot exist without might. You're an authoritarian in denial, Dev. Do you see why you get called a leftist? No, because there are rightist authoritarians too, and there are authoritarian centrists. And also, most importantly, is that I don't think authority is inherently a bad thing. Like there's clearly such thing as a just authority, right? Like I said, when I'm robbed, all right, when someone steals from me and the cops show up and they find the thief and he starts running away, they tackle him down, they tase him, they put him in handcuffs, they throw him in the back of a police car. That's authoritarian, and it's good. All right, there's very clearly good authoritarianism. Like, seriously, this is why libertarians are just the same as fucking leftists, dude. They're just the same as socialists, because you guys have the same, you have the same response. All right, you look at all those dumb fuck like lib left people, like all those social justice warriors, and they all just like hate the authority of their parents, and they're all just rebelling against it in the most impotent fucking ways imaginable. But then like libertarians do the same thing. It's like, I hate authority, dude. My dad told me to go to bed and it sucked and it traumatized me for life. It's like, shut the fuck up. You know what? There's a lot of good authority out there, and there's a lot of good uses of it. And sometimes you have people who are like actually, rowdy anarchist dipshits, and they should have their skulls stomped in by the cops. Sorry, Willowzen, that argument doesn't really matter to me because I'm not a Christian. Saninko, you stopped arguing. You've just now been doing basic appeals to authority. Dev, you're wrong. Dev, you don't get it. Dev, talk to this guy. Like, none of these are responses to anything that I've said. So I find them unconvincing. Exactly, Artemis. Violence is the supreme authority from which all other authority is derived. Yes. That does not mean that the violence is good or bad. The violence could be good, it could be bad. But nonetheless, it is the supreme authority. That's how it is. And the best you can hope for is to have the violence be good, to have the force be good, to have the authority be good. You can't go with no violence. Dev's Walls, $5. Thanks, man. Asymmetrical nature of chat doesn't allow deeper conversation. I'm not a libertarian, but listening to you one guy spiral is the worst. I'm heading out. Listen, if you're going out, can you bring back some milk, please? Dev, you're arguing against a straw man. A lot of what you're saying is correct, yes, but missing the point. But I'm not. It's the thing. I'm not. I'm not missing the point. I understand your point. NAP. I understand. I get it. I know what the NAP is. What I'm saying is that every time a libertarian says, Dev, you're an authoritarian, you're a statist cuck, you're a leftist, blah, 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 that's just a sign that you don't understand the nature of authority. All right? Because you know what? It is better to be a good authoritarian than it is to be a good anarchist. It is by far better to be a good authoritarian than it is to be a good anarchist. And yes, enforcing argument right does require positive right. Of course it does. That is simply the nature of living with other people. Yes. That is it. Like, nothing that's been said in the chat today has moved me off that position. There's been a lot of like condescension and snark, but no actual arguments. Is it a positive right to mass deport illegals through violence? Yeah, why not? Listen, they're illegal immigrants, okay? And deporting them should always be on the table because they are illegal immigrants. Their very existence in the country they've illegally immigrated into is a crime. Now, you obviously you have like worse ones and better ones, right? Like, they're illegal immigrants who come over the border and then committed like a shit ton of crimes, and they're illegal immigrants who come over the border and then don't do that, right? And you can have like a moral argument of like, well, what should we do with these two different groups of people? And then it's like, okay, well, should there be a path of citizenship for people who like have jumped the border but haven't done anything else? Maybe, but at the same time, it is entirely within the state's purview to say no. You should all be deported because you're illegals. Send them all out. That's entirely within the state's purview. It's not unreasonable to say that or to want that. All right, like you don't get to live in a place simply because you want to live there and you've hopped a border and haven't gone through any actual legal processes. All right, you don't get to just live there because you want to be there. Simple as that. Oh, and by the way, this applies to living in big cities too, or getting your own house. Right? Like, you don't have the right to just live anywhere you like. Simple as that. Oh, coffee good. Oh, I'm enjoying the coffee, guys. Hold on a second. Everything looks okay, I think. Anyway, yes. Yeah, oppression is an element of the state. Yes, so what? Some people should be oppressed. Sometimes the state is good. That's like I said. I'm not a libertarian. $5 from Argyle. Rights coming from yourself must be upheld by your fists, and most other people's fists are actually nuclear weapons. Anyways, get on with it. Thanks for the $5, Argyle. I appreciate it. Read my super chat, Fatman. Where is it? I'm looking, man. Scrolling through. Here we go. I found it. $10 from Festiva. Thank you. The NAP is a line drum. Once you cross that line, you forfeit the right to be left alone, as you've encroached on another. Once you encroach the person you have encroached, may do so in return. Yeah, but like I said, that just values being aggressive a priori. So like I understand it is a rule set and it's a good rule set to follow, but it still necessarily means that you must like to enforce your not getting encroached upon, you must also encroach on someone else, right? Like I said in the example, if I'm going to have a true free speech right, that means that the cops must infringe on the people who want to censor me because they also have the freedom to try and censor me. So either they're getting infringed on or I am. And for moral reasons, we choose that the censor should be infringed on, not the speaker. And that, by the way, that's good. I agree with that. But I'm not going to sit here and do this cope game of like, that's actually not a right. You don't actually have the freedom to. You don't actually have the freedom to like go and like not censor people. You actually do. You of course you have that freedom. It's a freedom that should be suppressed, but it's definitely a freedom. And that's the point. Jess Evans, $5. This is why I own guns, because at the end of the day, I will not give up my right to speech, and trying to censor me will have layers of consequences. That sounds pretty good. I don't mind that. Hold on. Yeah, Dev's Walls, $5 says, it's bad to conflate the set of all things you could do with the set of natural rights. No, it's not. In fact, I know that Dev's Walls is left already, but no, that's actually what it is. That's actually what it is. What am I wrong about? Hold on. What am I wrong about, Agorizer? Defensive might is moral. I just said that. Oh my fucking god, dude. Holtznader, $5 deported. You mean drawn and quartered? No, I don't think so. Remember, the Lotus Eaters made the same point. The libertarianism is just right-wing leftists. Well, here's the thing. There are definitely, like, woke right-wingers. That's for sure. And they are just as bad as woke left-wingers. Actually, James Lindsay did a great thread on it. You know, let's look at it. Fuck it. Let's look at it. Why the fuck not? Get on with it, I say. Well, hold on. I'm going to do this. I love how I'm arguing against Dev is arguing against liberalism. No, I'm not. Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. I generally agree with libertarian morals. Generally, there are some places I disagree, but for the most part, I agree with libertarian morals. What I'm saying though is that I understand that libertarian morals are themselves not they're not the foundation of morality. Libertarian morals can only exist in an otherwise stable society. All right, libertarians do not really have an answer to the power question. Like you can have your homesteads and you can have your free trade between people and like between people who are acting truthfully and in good faith. You can have your free markets. You can have all this libertarian stuff and like private spheres of private domains where only you hold sway in that in your private in your private house or whatever. Like you can have all this stuff. You can only have it when the sovereign authority of the country is stable and predictable. You can only have it with the security of a state guaranteeing it. Without the state, you can't have it. Without the state, without the state's protection and enforcement, it immediately descends into tribalism. So libertarians have the same problems that liberals do in their drive towards more freedom, but they have it worse because libertarians tend towards anti-statehood, even though the state is what secures libertarianism. But liberals don't tend toward anti-statehood. Liberals tend towards, positive liberal-based institutions, which are part of the state. See, Artemis, I disagree with you on that. Libertarians fall to it way worse than liberals do, because libertarians actively fight the very institutions that are meant to prevent the that are meant to prevent the rot. Liberals don't. Hey, Mark. Too many people think Hobbes is a stepping stone from $2. Thanks, man. I'm not wrong, Festiva. Sorry. Okay. Here, hold on. I'm gonna pull up that thing from James Lindsay. Let's zoom in on it so you can get a good look at it. There it is. Okay. Today's simple definition of woke right: people who act exactly like the woke left, but who claim to be the only true conservatives, who are acting that way for conservative or ultra conservative goals. Yeah, like this guy here. I am not conservative because I agree in part with the critical methodology of the left, but I come to different conclusions and valuations. Yeah, this guy's a right winger who's not a conservative. He is in fact a Sargon styled postmodern traditionalist. Um, it's kind of funny because like this type of right wing existed before, right? If you go back and the fascists were a form of it, but they're not the only form of it. You can go back and read like fascist writing, and the fascists shit on conservatives. They call them cuck-servatives for not going too far enough. Which they call them cuckold conservatives for not going too far enough. Which is funny because the Groypers now use the term cuck-servative, right? Like it's just recycled. It's like they use the same thing back in the 1910s and 1920s. Let's see here. 20 Mexicans. Major Pork, thank you. My right's end where yours begins. When contended, the bigger sword wins, basically. In a vacuum, yes, that's why you need an impartial state to judge. But I generally agree with you, yeah. Kevin PH, $2. Have you seen my super chat on Transformers yet? No, I haven't. Let's see. Where's your Transformers super chat? I beg you and everyone on this stream to go watch Transformers 1, please. It's one of the greatest animated movies in recent history. I'm surprised, but okay. All right. The word cuck goes back. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Like the cuck comes from cuckoo, right? And the cuckoo is a bird. And what it'll do is it'll fly to like other bird nests and push the eggs out, and then lay its own eggs and then fly away, and then trick other birds into raising its offspring. Like it's an old term because it comes from that animal. $5 from Jacobus. Speaking of Heinlein, y'all need to be supporting Elon Musk more. Starship is the best hope for the libertarian mindset. I'm not a libertarian, though. Okay, so here we go. Let's see the woke right. The woke right have many factions, making them hard to succinctly describe. Here are some. Groypers. They claim to be traditional Catholics, they hate Jews, they blame Jews for most things, they seek power eagerly, they're trolls online. This is like the Nick Fuentes faction. Christian nationalists. This is a fraught category because there are reasonable uses of the term, but the ones who bend towards theocracy and forcing people into their assessment of God's law, perhaps through upending the Constitution, and are woke right. In particular, are certain post-mill eschatologists, for those who know what that means. So, for example, the guy who runs that Park Place is part of this. Okay? If you guys know what that Park Place is. Lots of, like, I know, like Yellow Flash and side scrollers, groups like those use that Park Place a lot. All right? That Park Place is like a culture war news website. And honestly, they kind of keep their religion out of it for the most part. But it's run by a guy who is very much, he's kind of brainless, actually. And it sucks because like I had a couple of good conversations with him, but like he's so like, you know how you see like the whole what would you feel if you didn't have breakfast today, like that shit. And that's usually made to make that meme is usually made used to like either make fun of black people or leftists. This guy's a guy who's on the right wing who's absolutely this guy, like absolutely. I had several conversations with him where he was just unable to even like understand hypotheticals, and he was just like he was so dogmatic that he couldn't think. It was kind of wild. What was his name again? Fuck, I don't remember. Oh fuck, what's his name? I can't think of his name anymore, dude. Smoke detector chirp. Is there a chirp in my background? I don't hear it. Oh, let me just have another sip. Not Billy from One Angry Gamer. No. Like, I think this guy blocked me. That's why I can't find him. I think he fucking blocked me. Yeah, he did. This fucking guy, dude. This is a guy that said that, like, freedom and rights and democracy are not in the American Constitution. And I'm just like, okay, dude, you sound fucking retarded. Don't you dare say that there's a chirp. All right? I'm listening hard. I'm looking at my fucking mic output. I know there's no chirp. Fuck you. Wait, hold on. There can't be a chirp. The smoke detectors in my house are directly wired into the house's power. They're... Shut up. Shut the fuck up. I know that you're lying because my smoke detectors in this house don't use batteries. They don't use fucking batteries, you asshole. Here, I'll read super chats in a minute, okay? Let me get through this list. Okay, here we go. Post-liberals. These are the most intellectual of the woke right, claiming deep philosophical reasoning for why classic American liberalism has failed, allowed communism, or has become communism. They are post-liberal, meaning they want a government system based on something other than the US Constitution and the full securing of individual rights. There are several kinds of post-liberals depending on schools of thought they are drawn to. So I've now read some post-liberals, and they're actually very intelligent, and they have some very good critiques. And I would say that, you know, they're definitely worth listening to for sure. There's Schmittians. The Schmittians are a particular kind of post-liberal who have taken up with significant amounts of the political philosophy of Carl Schmitt, who was the crown jurist of the Third Reich. They don't like it being pointed out that Schmitt was a Nazi because Schmitt was also a subtle thinker, which is true. His philosophy makes politics a zero-sum conflict enterprise, the friend-enemy distinction, and calls for an unbound executive, a much more powerful chief executive or executive branch. Fascists and semi-fascists. This group supports or trolls in support of fascist regimes as the only path to anti-communism, including particularly Franco, Pinochet with the helicopter rides, and sometimes Mussolini, and more rarely Hitler himself. Much of this support is presented in an intentionally ironic, playful, trolling way. That is, through postmodernist methods, so woke approaches. This is true too. I've encountered these people. I've absolutely encountered these people for sure. The neo-reactionaries. This will be the Moldbug guys. This is Moldbug. Our Moldbug friends. The neo-reactionaries are also a relatively philosophical branch who are against the constitutional republic model and instead favor a constitutional monarchy, and more rarely an absolute monarchy. I think it's more common they favor absolute monarchy than constitutional monarchy, though. They tend to promote traditionalist values in an openly postmodern, semi-ironic way, like you can pretend your way into tradition. These groups overlap through their dissidence against the existing order, which they sell as dissidents of the existing regime. Some people are members of more than one of these categories, which are not fixed, nor is this list exhaustive. Most participants in the woke right do not realize they are in the woke right too fully and have been drawn into their hardlining programs out of desperation. Young men who are Christian, and especially recent returned converts, are the most susceptible to the woke right propaganda, as reports across the country from pastors have told me. So I don't know about this last line because these are just reports to him. So who knows, right? Who knows if there's any actual data on this? But the point is that his analysis of these groups, from my experiences with them, are mostly correct, right? Because like Taftaj has a neo-reactionary streak to her, okay? And I've enjoyed having conversations with her about some of this stuff. It's been a lot of fun. Scrump definitely went down the Schmittian route, all right? And Sargon, though Sargon hasn't read any of the American post-liberals, even though I did send him a book from what's his fucking name? Christopher Latch, who I think is very intelligent. And also Harry on the Lotus Eaters is a post-liberal. He's read a lot of Latch. And I was like, Harry, you get fucking Sargon to read this book. They still haven't, though. Like, Sargon kind of slots nicely into the post-liberal camp, right? And here's the thing, right? The woke right, there are ideas here that are worth listening to, and there are definitely reasonable people in these camps, and we can have good conversations about with these people. By the way, just as there are sometimes reasonable people in the woke left, and there is some intellectualism in the woke left. The issue ultimately is that I do think that they're both just wrong on the facts. However, you should always talk to people with different ideas. It's always good to listen to them. But anyway, yeah, I found this to be very interesting because James is kind of grasping a lot of the same things that I've been grasping at over the past year or two. And why I find some of these ideas appealing, or at least interesting to think about, without actually becoming part of these groups myself, you know? But yeah, good on James. Yeah, let's read a couple of these super chats, guys. Thank you very much for the support. Let's see. Adam Myers, $5. Hey, Deb, you considered that recommendation? The Nature of Predators. Hope that is okay to change topics and chill for my favorite story. I have not yet read it. I'm sorry. And honestly, I probably won't be able to read it until at least November. But thank you. Willazin for $10. Thanks, man. The situation in Appalachia shows that when the government becomes an enemy to its people, period. There's supposed to be a second part of that conversation, or that sentence. It's a moral good to disobey and prosecute those agents who prevent people from helping. Yeah, I don't fully agree with that. I looked into some of that stuff, and there's people who are like, they're like flying their helicopters through like a restricted airspace zone that was set up so that other people could, so that like the government could fly their helicopters to rescue people. And it's like, no, you can't just fucking fly in a place you're not allowed to fly, where someone else is already flying. Like, okay, dude, I get it, but no. Holznader, $2. Which is more important, hypotheticals or reality? Well, reality, obviously. Antelope, $10. Thank you. Do you still believe the state is not the absolute moral good and that it still must be kept in check by the will and consent of the people? You're not going the classical fascist or Hegelian right? Well, no. Yeah, the state is not the absolute moral good, but the state is the absolute authority of whatever morality the society has. So you have an obligation to make sure the morality is good, and to also engage with the state to make sure that it enforces it properly. Where does chat? What am I? What is love? Thanks to $2, dude. Coffee done. Delicious. Listen, chat, thanks for being here. Shall we read some articles? The state still must try to be moral. In law, we have 1+1 force theory, for example. No, I agree with you. Yeah. Hitler was an androgynous-looking guy with lesbian hair. He was vegetarian. He ate mostly beans. He loved his dog and thought only injections were real medicine and had a Mercedes. Ha! Listen, what's really funny, all right? What's really, Real Holtzner, if you don't mind, I mean, you can use whatever platform you want, but the one that I check now is Botrix because Streamlabs fucking sucks. Streamlabs is on the outs. Botrix is on the ins. But I'll check out the Streamlabs real quick. I'm glad people are migrating away from Streamlabs. It's so fucking like clunky and prone to breaking down. Speaking of being prone to breaking down, I can't log into Streamlabs. Log in, dude. Come on, you piece of shit. Log in. Fuck. Ouch. Okay. Come on. Is there a limit to listen to ideas? At some point, there's ideas you can discard, like communism or fascism, and their spectacular failure. I mean, yeah, but like, listen does not mean implement, right? I'm still going to read communist and fascist writers, even if I would never want their ideas implemented. $5 from Holzinator. I think for the moral crime of betraying liberals, the only group to show mercy or compassion towards outgroups, there is no punishment too harsh for leftists. And I think liberals owe conservatives an apology for failing to hold the line. I think I understand what you mean, but I mean, conservatives also have their fair share of not showing mercy or compassion to outgroups, dude. I understand what you mean, though. Thank you. Let me just grab some water here real quick. Ow! Oh! Oh! Okay. No, I crunched my toe into the side of my new desk. My new desk is made of metal. It's a full metal desk. And just like kaboom! Oh! Oof! What do we got here? $5 from Holzinator. Does Botrix censor? As far as I know, no. Also, have you ever seen the Land of Confusion video by Disturbed? Someone needs to make it with the intersectionist flag. I have not seen that before, no. Conservatives are renowned for not ostracizing people. Tell that to many, many gay individuals in the States, man. I do read Botrix, you fuck. Antelope. Did you see the ideology map I made based on some of your videos and the books you recommended? No. But I am interested, yeah. Oof. I agree. What I'm saying is that liberals say these people aren't a threat. We should treat them as equals. And they then stab us in the back. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Understood. Dev, show us a picture of your feet so you can assess the damage. Fuck off. Conservatives don't ostracize gays in private. That's true. Conservatives whack off to a ton of tranny porn, guys. I didn't break my desk, Artemis, you fuck. God damn it. Okay. Here. Oof. Oof. Okay. We got the articles up. Let's take a laugh at them, okay? Here we go. Germany withdraws soccer jersey with the number 44 because of Nazi symbolism. Wow. Rather discriminate against people for beliefs, not identity group. Fair enough, Holzner. Thank you. Okay. The German Soccer Federation and Adidas have stopped the sale of Germany jerseys with the number 44 because of a resemblance to the logo of the Nazi Party's notorious SS paramilitary units. Wow. Oh my god, is this an April 1st? Oh no, was it a joke article? No! Yep. Adidas on Monday has stopped offering the personalization of jerseys with names and numbers, and the Federation halted delivery of jersey with the number 44 from its shop. Was this actually a joke? Was this a joke? I guess it's a joke. Shit. Rip. Look at the typeface, though. It's hilarious. Where is it? I can't see it. Where? Oh, I see it. Okay. Yeah, it looks like the fucking... Nice, dude. That's pretty funny. What makes it funnier is that those How Ridiculous guys actually like have a bunch of 44 shirts because they call their fans the 44 Club. Like, okay, dude. All right. what's next? Tributes paid to the true legend, Dame Maggie Smith. R.I.P., guys. She has died over the week. Maggie Smith, best known for the Harry Potter films and Downton Abbey, has been remembered as a true legend of stage and screen following her death at the age of 89. R.I.P. Let me just, I'm applying some lip balm here. Tributes have been paid by the King and Prime Minister, as well as numerous co-stars from her long career. King Charles described her as a national treasure, while Sir Keir Starmer said she was beloved by so many for her great talent. Harry Potter star Daniel Radcliffe fondly remembered her for fierce intellect and gloriously sharp tongue. Miriam Margolyes said she was the best of the best, who combined ferocity, a glint of mischief, delight, and tenderness, and enormous courage. I've been in awe of her, as all her colleagues are. I saw what a kind person she could be, as well as absolutely terrifying. Wow. She was known for her sharp tongue on screen and off during a varied and acclaimed career that spanned 8 decades. In the Harry Potter films, she played the acerbic Professor Minerva McGonagall, famous for her pointed witch's hat and stern manner with the young wizards at Hogwarts. Wow. R.I.P., guys. Starmer says, beloved by many, I assume, since they don't have emotions. Yeah. R.I.P., guys. She was one of the goats. I mean, she made it to 98, right? Like 98 means that you've lived a full life at 98. So good for her. Man. 88? Oh, okay. 1488? Are we 2 for 2 in the Nazi numbers in this article? Still. R.I.P. R.I.P. New York City politician says law allowing rape suit against him is unconstitutional, despite voting for the legislation. Oops. Oops. Okay. A Brooklyn state senator claims the law allowing a rape lawsuit against him to move forward is unconstitutional, even though he voted for the legislation and bragged about it. Yeah, this is a you get what you fucking deserve moment, dude. Holy shit. The now expired act permitted alleged victims to file civil lawsuits against their accused attackers within a certain window, even if the state statute of limitations had run out on their claims. This is the guy, I presume? Yep. State Senator Kevin Parker has denied he raped a woman. So, okay. Parker was accused of the 2004 alleged attack in November 2023 in a claim that made it just under the wire. The state senator, along with every other member of the state senate, had voted for the legislation in 2021. Parker even touted his support of the law in a statement in which he denied the rape charges against him shortly after they were levied in November. I voted in favor of the Adult Survivors Act to ensure all New Yorkers can seek justice and be heard. Parker wrote of the legislation, which was also passed by the Assembly, signed into law by Hochul in May 2022 and expired in November of 2023. These allegations are absolutely untrue. My work and advocacy will continue, he said. Olga Jean-Baptiste said she was working with Parker on relief efforts for Haiti in 2004 when he grabbed her by the wrists and forcibly raped her at her home. Allegations that Hochul called deeply disturbing. Wow. Neither Parker's Senate rep nor his lawyer returned the Post's request for comment about his latest legal filing in the case. This isn't Parker's first run-in with the law. In 2005, he got slapped with a misdemeanor assault charge after slugging a traffic cop who wrote him a ticket. Wow, okay. A few years later, he lashed out at a Post photographer and smashed his camera as the shutterbug was snapping pics of the politician outside his Flatbush home. Parker was found guilty on misdemeanor charges and forced to attend anger management classes. The same lawyer who represented him in that case is defending him against sexual assault charges. Wow. Okay. Well, there we go. Good job, buddy. I guess you kind of had this coming, didn't you? EA is not developing The Sims 5, but has confirmed a Sims movie. Wow. A Project Renee playtest is weeks away, while the movie hopes to capture the Barbie appeal. Okay. Let's see. The Sims 4 has reached its 10th birthday this month and remains EA's flagship entry into the iconic 24-year-old franchise. The company has reiterated its plans to continue supporting The Sims 4 content users have invested in while experimenting with alternative products, including a movie. Guys, you ready for a Sims movie? I'm just Sim. Fuck. Okay, Maxis recently provided a detailed update on its plans for the Sim franchise. It doesn't offer much new information on the upcoming game, codenamed Project Renee. The studio teased significant changes for modding and EA's plans for a Sims film adaptation. Oh my god, Jack Black's gonna be in it, guys. Fuck Jack Black, dude. Okay. So yeah, Project Renee, the next entry in the Sims series, has been in development for years, but Maxis stresses that it won't be called The Sims 5 and promises it won't be replaced The Sims 4. Ooh, a new type of game. Okay. You think like online Sims, maybe? Oh, whatever. So, some Project Renee features might appear in The Sims Labs, an insider program where the company explores new ideas for the franchise. Some of these additions might appear in other Sims games in the coming months. Okay, understood. What about the movie, though? Despite its age, The Sims 4 doesn't have any serious competitors. PUBG publisher Krafton is currently preparing Inzoi, a life simulation game that observers have compared to The Sims, though it exhibits a far more realistic and demanding graphics using Unreal Engine 5. There we go. EA confirmed that Barbie star Margot Robbie, her company, is producing a movie adaptation of The Sims with the help from Amazon MGM Studios. Kate Herron, known for Loki and the television adaptation of The Last of Us, will direct and co-write The Sims movie. The Sims movie will contain nods to numerous iconic elements of the games, like freezer bunnies, pools without ladders, and more. Wow. Are you guys ready for the immense amount of slop that is going to be the Sims fucking movie? Like a flop in production. Mm-hmm. I'm ready. Ireland's bonkers plan to kill cows to save the planet. Wow. You have to hand it to the Green Movement. When it comes to their increasingly farcical and delusional race towards the illusory target of net zero, they're never short of bad ideas. E-bikes and e-scooters have an unfortunate tendency to explode in the middle of the night. Electric cars which take days to charge, when you can find a charger. Motorists threaten with eye-watering fines if they dare go faster than 20 miles an hour. Honestly, don't be surprised if the next generation of cars come equipped with only 2 gears and a built-in speed inhibitor. But here in Ireland, we have really taken the lead in coming up with very bad ideas. In fact, the latest might be daftest yet. The government wants to kill our cattle. In what would normally be dismissed as little more than the frenzied imagination of a cranky conspiracy theorist who thinks the government really is out to get them, the Irish Department of Agriculture has come up with a plan to spend 600 million euros over the next 3 years, killing 200,000 dairy cattle. What grave threat could possibly be posed by Daisy the cow? Well, it's all down to her methane. Yes, apparently cow farts are killing the planet. I mean, there's some truth to this, but we got to eat the cows, though, so what the fuck? Ireland's Environmental Protective Agency claims the agricultural sector accounted for 38% of national greenhouse gas emissions in 2021, And as they strive to reduce all agricultural emissions by 25% by 2030, that means the cows have to go. It's so fucking stupid, dude. You still gotta eat, you retard. While addressing the Environment and Climate Committee last March, Minister for Agriculture and Food Charlie McConnell admitted that one of the bright ideas conjured up by the Dairy Food Division Group was to explore a voluntary dairy reduction scheme as part of its climate action plan for 2023, to which every beef and dairy farmer in Ireland promptly replied, hell no. While our political elites and those who swim around in the civil service, the media and academia don't like to admit it, Ireland is still a predominantly agrarian society. Many elements of the Irish media like to present the country as a vast tech hub, home to giant data centers where all the major social media companies have established their European headquarters. That is true, but it doesn't tell the full story. How fucking long is this? Okay, yeah. Alright. This is just, they want to kill the cows. They want to kill the fucking cows. It's so dumb. Argyle, $5. Buffalo were grazing the world and it didn't explode. Cows sequester carbon by eating grass and crapping it out. Very, very smart Irish. I think it's because there's like billions more cattle than there are now than there used to be because of like farming. But still, I get your point. Oh, man. The final solution to the bovine problem. Fucking hell. Biden angrily responds to Trump on the hurricane response. Okay. Yeah, apparently there's a big shit show right now over the hurricane response. I don't really buy the anger, frankly. I think people tend to like blame Biden for like shit that everyone fucking does, which is just dumb. I saw Artemis earlier in the chat say something like, Dev, I was part of the FEMA response to Puerto Rico, and it wasn't Trump's fault that the aid did not go to where it was supposed to go in Puerto Rico. It's like, okay, yeah, fair enough. But then, by that logic, every single person who says the Biden regime is suppressing or doing whatever, when it's like a local sheriff or like a state official, not a federal official or something, it's like, shut up. All right. There are different power centers in the United States. Stop acting like it's all run by one man. All right. Okay. President Joe Biden announced plans Monday to visit flood-ravaged North Carolina to survey the damage from Hurricane Helene, bristling at former President Trump's assertion that he had not been actively involved in responding to the disaster. It's team sports. Yeah, I fucking hate it. Biden, seated behind the resolute desk at the White House, appeared visibly frustrated when asked about the criticism from his predecessor. He's lying, Biden said. I don't know why he does this. And the reason I get so angry about it, I don't care what he says about me, but I care what he communicates to the people that are in need. He implies that we're not doing everything possible. We are. Biden's on holiday. God. Then talk about fucking Trump going golfing constantly when he was president. Like, it's so dumb. I hate these brain dead fucking criticisms that are clearly just sidesism. Biden, responding to what has become of the familiar politics of natural disasters supercharged an election year, also defended his decision to work for part of the weekend from his Delaware beach house. It's 90 miles from here, Biden said when asked if he regretted going to Delaware from Washington. I was on the phone the whole time. Hold on. Ugh, Jesus. Biden said he would visit Raleigh on Wednesday for a meeting with the Emergency Operations Center and would take an aerial tour of damage in the area. He also said he hoped to travel to Georgia and Florida as soon as possible. Trump, who as president faced criticism for his response to Hurricane Maria, on Sunday criticized Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris for not being in Washington over the weekend and not immediately traveling to the storm-ravaged region. He accused Biden of sleeping at his beach house, suggesting he was not focused on the recovery effort, and he attacked Harris for fundraising and campaigning in California and Nevada. Trump on Monday traveled to Georgia to receive a briefing on the damage and distribute relief supplies. Harris visited the FEMA headquarters Monday after returning from Las Vegas. A White House official said she spent the flight back calling leaders of impacted states, including Georgia Governor Brian Kemp. She did not take questions from reporters at the disaster agency, but gave a noticeable frown when asked if the response to Helene has been politicized. Throughout the day, the White House stressed that the federal government would continue to surge resources to impacted areas. Earlier Monday, Biden said he may ask Congress to return early from its recess to pass supplemental disaster money to address the broad and devastating impacts of Helene. FEMA isn't helping enough. The federal government isn't helping enough. If you disagree, you are actually disingenuous and malicious. The actual truth is, I don't know if they are or not. I haven't looked into it. But here's what I do know, is that Biden is incentivized to say he's doing everything he can because it makes him look good. And Trump is incentivized to say Biden's sleeping on the job because it makes him look good. They both have incentives to say certain things, whether or not they're true. Yep. Homes and businesses have been washed away in an instant. I want them to know we're not leaving until the job is done, Biden said. At that point, the president said he was waiting to announce his travel plans because he did not want a presidential visit to disrupt relief efforts. Asked whether he felt that Trump's visit to the region would be disruptive, Biden said, I don't have any idea. Biden said he didn't know how much money he may have to request from Congress. His FEMA chief has suggested the financial stockpile is fine for now. We absolutely have enough resources from across the federal family, said Dan Criswell. Okay. Thanks to the government funding patch Congress cleared last week, the nation's disaster relief fund is refilled to roughly $20 billion. Criswell estimated the cash will be enough to keep disaster response and recovery going at full force throughout the country until early January. If Congress doesn't clear an emergency disaster aid bill in the coming months, FEMA will likely need to switch in January to conserving cash by halting payments for work like repairing buildings, while aid continues to go out for anything considered to be life-sustaining or critical. I see. Okay, this is just about the hurricane itself. Okay. Gonna be honest, the hurricane is not a story that I've covered too much, but I have seen it become politicized because everything's fucking politicized nowadays. Everyone's screaming like, "Oh no, we have to! Oh, you know, no!" Ah! It's like, okay, dude. FEMA literally ran out of money because of Biden's immigration policy. Last I heard, the right-wing narrative was FEMA ran out of money because of Ukraine. Okay. Let's continue on. Bipartisan spending bill includes effective ban on pride flags over U.S. embassies. Wow. A provision in the 1012-page funding measure would prohibit most flags from flying over U.S. embassies, other than the American flag. Okay, so it doesn't like explicitly prohibit pride flags. It says only American flags can fly. Okay. Let's see. The bipartisan measure to avert the government shutdown included a provision that would effectively ban LGBTQ pride flags. Okay, fine. So, although the $1.2 trillion package does not explicitly mention barring pride flags from flying at U.S. embassies, okay, so you just chose this as a fucking headline then. Fuck you. Its text embraces a Republican-led effort to prohibit the display of the LGBTQ pride flag at government buildings. None of the funds appropriated or otherwise made available by this act may be obligated or expended to fly or display a flag over a facility of the United States Department of State other than the U.S. flag, the prisoners of war / MIA flag, the hostage and wrongful detainee flag, the flag of a state, the flag of an Indian tribal government, an official branded flag of a U.S. agency, or the sovereign flag of other countries. Okay, so only state flags, like government flags, no, private flags regarding some movement. Okay, sounds fine to me. The provision does not address the display of these flags in other locations, such as on embassy grounds or in offices. Okay, only on the official flagpole of the embassy. Got it. Yeah, this would ban the libertarian flag too, the Gadsden flag. Like, why wouldn't it? Because that's not like an official state flag. That's like a flag of an ideology. The Biden administration urged Congress to pass the spending bill, describing it as a compromise between Republicans and Democrats in a statement the White House released. Okay. Yeah. Biden believes, hold on, a White House spokesperson said that Biden believes it was inappropriate to abuse the process that was essential to keeping the government open by including this policy targeting LGBTQI Americans. It's not even targeting them. This is so fucking stupid. It's completely legitimate to ban all non-state related flags from a U.S. embassy, including LGBT flags. Fuck you. The LGBT flag is not special. It is not holy. It is not that important. Fuck you. Honestly, guys, you're going to hate it, but you know what? Omnibus bills aren't even that bad. They're okay, frankly. If you genuinely believe in, the Trumpian art of the deal, where you're supposed to, like, cut deals with your opponents and compromise and, like, just to get things flowing smoothly, then what you need are omnibus deals, because like, it's the same thing with an omnibus deal is basically a giant bill that contains fucking everything in the kitchen sink in it. Nope. Omnibus bills are fine. The pork is part of the deal, man. Like, listen here. Think back to the the border bill that Republicans axed. All right. One of the complaints was it includes funding for Ukraine support. It's like, well, yeah, it does, and it should. All right. Republicans want to secure the southern border. Democrats want to support Ukraine. So you cut a deal. All right. You have some funding for the border and some funding for Ukraine. That's what compromise is. All right. You scratch my back and I scratch yours. That is what the art of the deal is. All right. And so to complain that there was a compromise and you're like, oh, but I just wanted to get everything that I wanted and I wanted my opponents to roll over and get nothing. This isn't fair. No, you fucking retards. The deal should be to agree to pass X separate bills. Yeah, the problem with that, though, Zero Fucks, is that, like, it's very easy to say that and then turn your back on it and not pass the other bills as they come down the pipe, right? So you put it all in one bill. That's how it should be. Because if it's all in one bill, then it guarantees that, okay, we're passing this one package and you get what you want in it and I get what I want in it. And we ensure that we're being honest here by putting it all in one vote. And that's how it should be. Yeah, it's wrong, painted blue. You're factually incorrect on that. Well, sure, Merc. You can easily compromise to the point that it becomes detrimental. Like, I get it. I get you give up too much in the compromise, right? But, like, that's not an argument against making a deal. Like, that's not an argument against the concept of compromise. You know what I mean? Yeah, I don't agree with that, Proud 6 Engine owner. No. Hold on. Jesus Christ, why are you burping so much? What the fuck? $5 from Antelope, thank you. People don't understand that compromise is how the government literally is supposed to work and has always worked, what the founding fathers intended. Yeah. So, like, hey, Republicans, if you want your border to be funded, then give up some funding for Ukraine. It's like, oh, but I don't want to. I mean, my idea is good, their idea is bad. Why should I compromise? Well, you should compromise because they represent a power block that you must respect if you want to get anything done at all. Simple as that. Okay. Let's see here. Is there anything else to this? Nope. It's literally this is literally just leftoids making a dumb fucking headline because it's not about the LGBT flag, but they made it about the LGBT flag. It's about all flags. Oh, fuck, I fucking hate leftoids, dude. Okay, what is this? Oh yeah. Okay. So this is an illegal picture of a LaSalle Emard Verdun by-election ballot. So, by the way, in Canada, you can't take pictures of ballots. In fact, you can't even talk about who you voted for, or even report in the news who won a riding until the entire election's complete. Because it's released by time zone, and so time zones on the East Coast get released first, and those results might influence votes on the West Coast. So Canada made it completely illegal to talk about the results of an election until the entire election's done, which is stupid, and no one listens to it in the modern era. But here we are. So yeah, this is an illegal picture of a LaSalle Emard Verdun by-election ballot. Elections Canada had to make special rules so that additional ballot boxes could be used when the regular ones fill up with these monstrosities. So basically what happened is that local laws in this area made it so that all candidates must be put on the ballot, no matter how big or small, no matter how popular or unpopular. So every single candidate that ran in this election, they're all here. And so you have this giant fucking ballot. And it's like, check off which one you want, dude. Wow. There's the Conservative. Bunch of independents. There's the PPC guy. Who else can we see on here? Independent. Like, what a shit show ballot, dude. It's so stupid. So dumb. Okay. Suspect accused of breaking New York City woman's jaw in a sucker punch attack has a rap sheet of similar assaults and a history of mental illness. Ooh. The suspect cut loose after allegedly socking a Big Apple woman in the face, breaking her jaw and knocking out several teeth. And a brazen daylight attack that has a rap sheet of similar sucker punch assaults to his name and a long history of mental illness. So Franz Judy, 33, was nabbed after allegedly punching a Brooklyn school bus aide, Deluche Pichardo, 57, in the face as she was walking home from work in Crown Heights. And here he is. Here's the guy. He doesn't even look like he's fucking present here, dude. Despite the victim's severe injuries, Judy was set free by a Brooklyn judge on supervised release after the repeat offender was slapped with misdemeanor charges of third-degree assault, attempted assault, and harassment. All non-bail eligible offenses. What the fuck, dude? This is terrible. I don't want this to happen to anyone else, said a bruised and battered Pichardo. He's not supposed to be free. They know he's dangerous. You can't leave these people outside that are dangerous. Oh my fucking god, dude. She got, like, rocked. She was working on a school bus? Fucking hell, man. The alleged perp's rap sheet includes prior arrests for 2 other random punch attacks, including one on a law enforcement officer and the other on a security guard. Fucking hell, man. He was arrested for misdemeanor assault after he whacked a Department of Homeless Services officer in the face at the Manhattan Psychiatric Center located on Randall's Island in July 2018. The officer had just finished his shift and was driving out of the parking lot when Judy swung at him through his window. The punch left the officer with bruising, a laceration to his left eye, cuts in his nose, and a chipped tooth. He socked a security guard in the face in 2019. Holy fuck, dude. Like, this is brutal. Jesus. Having to have, like, your mouth, like, wired up so that your teeth heal properly. Oh, holy shit. Yeah, dude. New York's a fucking, like, ridiculous crime-ridden hellhole at this point. Is this the punch here? Happens to a lot of women. For all women now is dangerous. We're not safe. Everyone's got to go outside. You don't know who could punch you. I don't feel safe in New York. Yeah. Right. Haley Kate, an influencer with 1.1 million followers on TikTok, posted a video Monday saying she was assaulted so viciously she blacked out. Jesus fucking Christ, guys. Okay, is there a video of this punch? Like, it kind of looks like it. Maybe at the top? Yeah. Let's see, is there? Here it is. Just boom! He just fucking slugged her. Oh, what a piece of shit, dude. I'd rather meet a bear than a random New Yorker. Yeah, like, considering that he's done it now 3 times, just throw him in fucking prison at this point. Don't be like, oh, compassionate release, oh, mental health. No. Lock him up. Lock him the fuck up, dude. Microsoft wants to know why some game developers aren't on Xbox. Okay. Microsoft wants to hear from game developers who might be skipping Xbox or those already building games using the company's developers' tools. The software maker is expanding Xbox research team to include the community of game developers seeking feedback directly from developers about tools, support, and the overall pain points of the Xbox platform. A new program, much like Microsoft Xbox Insider One, is now open. Is now open to all game members of game studios, not just technical employees. Typically, it takes a lot of Jesus. God damn it. Typically, it takes a lot of people to make and ship a game, including marketing, user research, artists, audio, PMs, community managers, and more. We want to hear from everyone who works on games or helps support game studios, because if we can make your life easier, it makes gaming better. Well, the program will gather feedback about tools, performance tuning, debugging utilities, and plenty of other aspects of game development. It's also designed for input from game studios that aren't shipping games on Xbox. If you aren't on Xbox, we want to know why. And honestly, if you're using our competitors' products, you probably have a great perspective we could learn from. Okay. Wow. Let's see. So they're mentioning Baldur's Gate 3 coming out several months after PS5. Capcom revealed 2 fighting games are coming to Xbox late. Black Myth Wukong is coming to Xbox late. Okay. Inotria, the last song, is coming to Xbox late. Okay. Well, there we go. Now, some of these are going to be Sony exclusivity deals. Like, I think Black Myth Wukong was a Sony exclusivity deal. But, yeah. They're talking about just, ways to make developing for Xbox easier. Because all your games are on PC and I have an RTX 790 XTX. Nice. New bubble wrap will no longer pop when you squeeze it. RIP, guys. Hate to burst your bubble, but there's new bubble wrap now, and this one won't pop. Sealed Air, which has sold bubble wrap since 1960, has a new version of its protective wrapping coming out called iBubble Wrap. It's sold flat and airless, making it easier to store and ship. A single truckload of iBubble Wrap can hold as much packaging as 47 truckloads of the old stuff. But they don't pop. Rip. Instead, the air just shifts around inside the column of bubbles. It will still make traditional bubble wrap, and other companies will still make it too. But if this new stuff takes off, bubble wrap that we all know and love could become a lot less common. Well, there we go, guys. No more bubble wrap. Rip. Fuck. God damn it. North Korea trash balloon causes fire on a Seoul building rooftop. So, a trash balloon from North Korea landed on a Seoul building rooftop and caused a fire. So, apparently, North Korea is sending southward thousands of balloons full of trash. Dev, quick shush for a second. I heard a chirp. Fuck you. Thanks for the $2, but fuck you. All right. At around 9:04 p.m. on Sunday, a fire broke out on the rooftop of a 4-story commercial building in the Western District of Seoul, said a fire station. Okay. Fire was extinguished in 18 minutes, with 15 fire trucks and 56 personnel deployed. Military and police authorities collected the balloon, which is being investigated. So Pyongyang has launched about 120 trash-filled balloons towards the border late on Sunday, following 50 balloons that were launched on Saturday. Around 40 of the balloons have already landed in the south, mainly in northern Gyeonggi province and the capital Seoul. The bags attached to these balloons contain mostly paper and plastic waste. All right. North Korea sent more than 5,000 trash-filled balloons southward since May. saying they are retaliation for propaganda balloons launched by South Korea. Wow. Seoul has suspended a tension-reducing military deal with Pyongyang and restarted some propaganda broadcasts from loudspeakers along the border. Timer devices on trash balloons caused fires earlier this month, with one near an airport, another at a storage unit. Some North Korean trash balloons have thermal timers that could potentially cause fires if they don't separate properly when the heating wire is activated, which acts to detach the balloon from its load. Okay. So, what a weird new stage in the Korean War, guys, with trash balloons being sent around. So strange. Niagara region prepares for disruptions after declaring a state of emergency for a solar eclipse. Niagara, by the way, is a region in Canada. All right. Officials in the Niagara region say they're hoping for the best but preparing for the worst after taking the unprecedented step of proactively declaring a state of emergency ahead of the solar eclipse. Anticipating traffic jams and possible fuel shortages and telecommunications outages, Jim Bradley, the chair of the regional government, invoked the emergency measure on Friday. When you have 1 million people coming to an area, something that can happen, and so out of an abundance of caution, we want to make sure we have the declaration and the available staff and resources to be able to deal with any eventuality. So, state of emergencies in Canada are usually reserved for natural disasters, like fires and floods, and severe snowstorms. But why for an eclipse? Why? Okay. I guess they just need to not be able to look. Like, guys, it's going to be a state of emergency because you're going to be looking at the fucking... Okay, I hate this world. I hate this world and everyone in it. $5 from Jasso Heavens. North Korea isn't sending trash. They're sending government North Korean cuisine as humanitarian effort. South Koreans just can't appreciate good cuisine. Wow. Wow. Authoritarian is gonna auth? Dude, I don't know if it's about that. It's about it's about stupidity gonna stupid. All right. Dude, I'm fucking burnt out from this nonsense. Okay. Fucking Christ. I hate idiots. Oh, fuck. Okay. So, guys, that does it for me today. All the ads are over. Thanks for your support today. The Archcast is in a few hours, so I'll probably see you over there. Ouch. I'll be on Metal's channel tomorrow for a conversation about Joker 2. That's going to be fun, I think. So I'll make sure to ping that. Also, my throat hurts again. Fuck. Fuck. Yep, I'll be on Metal's channel. Oh, by the way, did you guys enjoy me on EFAP? I know we didn't talk that much, but like EFAP was like, it's like 8 fucking people there. I don't want to just monopolize the mic. You know what I mean? Come raid my sister. She's on YouTube now. Okay, what's her channel? Where? What? Redirects? Oof. Ouch. Oof. Oof. Ouch. Oof. Defang the Panda? Okay, sure. Oh. I can't raid Defang the Panda. They have raiding turned off. Sorry. Okay. Anyway, listen, guys. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the support. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate all of you. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I'll see you tomorrow on Metal's channel. And you know what? I will, in fact, have a hopefully a video out for you tomorrow. Hopefully. I've got plans, guys. Don't you worry. And those plans currently involve me going to play more Dustborn. Fuck. Okay. See you later, guys. I love you.